performance of William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Just a few brief announcements before we begin tonight's performance. We want to ensure that everyone that tonight's live reading of this show was neither rehearsed nor any way dramatically discussed at all whatsoever, except in a few brief exchanges of emails. So it's going to be chaotic and it's going to be amazing. Tonight's performance will be performed by the cast of the Modern Romantic Magazine, Company Productions, LLC, and etc. As you watch tonight's performance, we will invite you to continue to use the chat to communicate with us, but we do ask that any questions be held until the end. We are going to pretend like this is a true production, so we will not be responding to anything until the end, but please feel free to still communicate with us. We still love seeing all the chats, and yes, we can still see them. At this time, just like in a regular theater, we do ask you to silence your cell phones at this time. We also ask you to disengage any electronic devices, such as laser pens, crying babies, and any other galactic devices that will be in violation of the Federation Law 72-C. Before we begin, we do have a few words from our lovely and very incredibly talented creator of Modern Romantic Magazine, Emily, Lady of MRM. Emily, would you like to say a few words?
No, but I will. Welcome to our ill-prepared and unrehearsed reading of Romeo and Juliet, everyone. I just wanted to go through who everybody was so you know and what parts everyone is playing. I don't expect you to keep track. Lord knows we hardly can, so this will be an adventure. We have Trey in the bottom center of your screen. He is doing our prologue and announcing. He's also playing Romeo. And then we have Brenna, who is just to the right of him. She's playing Juliet and First Citizen. And then we have Chris, who's in the top middle. He's playing Gregory, Lord Capulet, Mercutio, and Peter. And then we have Julie in the bottom left. She's playing Lady Montague, Benvolio / Cornholio, First Servant, and Friar Lawrence. Then we have Josh in the upper right playing Abraham, Tybalt, Lord Montague, and the nurse. And then we have myself. I'm playing Samson and Lady Capulet, the Prince, Paris, and the second servant. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, Trey, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. Without further ado, we do present to you tonight's performance of Acts 1 and 2 of Romeo and Juliet. Act 1. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. Clearly they've never been to Wall Street. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage. The which of you with patient ears attend, and those of you with the ADHD, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend.
Gregory, oh my word, will not carry coals.
No, for then we should be colliers.
I mean, and we be in colors. We'll draw.
Aye, while you live, draw your neck out of the collar.
I strike quickly, being moved.
Be thou art not quickly moved to strike.
A dog of the house of Montague moves me.
To move is to stir, and to be valiant is to stand. Therefore, if thou art moved, thou runnest away.
A dog of that house shall move me to stand. I will take the wall of any man or maid of Montague's.
That shows thee a weak servant, for the weakest goes to the wall.
True, and therefore women, being the weaker vessels, are ever thrust to the wall. Therefore I will push Montague's men from the wall, and thrust his maids to the wall.
The quarrel is between our masters and us, their men.
'Tis all one. I will show myself a tyrant. When I have fought with the men, I will be cruel with the maids, and cut off their heads.
The heads of the maids.
Aye, the heads of the maids, or their maiden heads. Take it in what sense thou wilt.
They must take it in the sense that feel it.
Me, they shall feel while I am able to stand, and 'tis known I am a pretty piece of flesh.
'Tis well thou art not fish. If thou hadst been poor John. Draw thy tool. Here come two of the house of Montague.
My naked weapon is out. Quarrel, I will back thee.
How? Turn thy back and run?
Fear me not.
No, Mary, I fear thee.
Let us take the law of our sides. Let them begin.
I will frown as I pass by and let them take it as they list.
Nay, as they dare, I will bite my thumb at them, which is a disgrace to them if they bear it.
Enter Abraham and Balthazar.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
I do bite my thumb, sir.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
Is the law of our side, I say, aye?
No.
No, sir, I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I bite my thumb, sir.
Do you quarrel, sir?
Quarrel, sir? No, sir.
If you do, sir, I am for you. I serve as a good man. I serve as good a man as you.
No better.
Well, sir.
Say better. Here come some of my master's kinsmen.
Oh, yes. Better, sir.
You lie.
Draw, if you be men. Gregory, remember thy swashing blow.
They fight. Fight noises. Fight noises. Fight noises. Fight noises. Fight noises. Fight noises. Enter
Heart,
Benvolio.
fool! Put up your sword. You do not know what you do.
What, art thou drawn amongst these heartless hinds? Turn thee, Benvolio. Look upon thy death.
I do but keep the peace. Put up thy sword, or manage it to part these men with me.
What? Drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee. Have at thee, coward.
They fight. Fight noises. Fight noises. Fight noises. Fight noises. Fight noises.
Clubs, bills, and partisans, strike, beat them down, down with the Capulets, down with the Montagues.
What noise is this? Give me my spear and magic helmet, ho!
A crutch, why call you for a sword?
My spear and magic helmet, I say! Old Montague has come and flourishes his blade in spite of me.
Thou villain Capulet, hold me not, let me go.
Thou shalt not stir.
Thou shalt not stir a foot to seek a foe.
Oh, sorry. my earbuds caught on the yeah, it caught on. Rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbor-stained steel. Will they hear not? What? Ho! You men, you beasts, that quench the fire of your pernicious rage with purple fountains issuing from your veins, on pain of torture from those bloody hands, throw your mistempered weapons to the ground, and hear the sentence of your moved prince. 3 civil brawls, bred of an airy word, by thee, old Capulet, and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets, and made Verona's ancient citizens cast by their grave beseeming ornaments, to wield old partisans in hands as old, cankered with peace, to part your cankered hate. If you ever disturb our streets again, your lives will pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time, all of the rest depart away. You, Capulet, shall go along with me, and Montague, come you this afternoon, to know our further pleasure in this case, to old Freetown, our common judgment place. Once more, on pain of death, all men depart.
Exit all but Montague, Lady Montague, and Benvolio.
Who set this ancient quarrel new abroach? Speak, nephew. Were you by when it began?
Here were the servants of your adversary, and yours, close fighting ear, I did approach. I drew to part them. In the instant came the fiery Tybalt, his sword prepared, which, as he breathed defiance to my ears, he swung about his head and cut the wind. Who nothing hurt withal hissed him in scorn, while we were interchanging thrusts and blows, came more and more, and fought on part, till the prince came, who parted either part. Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today? Right glad I am he was not at this fray. Madam, an hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drave me to walk abroad, where underneath the grove of sycamore that westward rooteth from the city side, so early walking did I see your son. Towards him I made, but he was ware of me, and I stole into the covert of the wood. I, measuring his affections by my own, that most are bruised when they're most alone, pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who gladly fled from me.
Many a morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning dew, adding to clouds more clouds with his deep sighs. But also soon as the all-cheering sun should in the furthest east begin to draw the shady curtains from Aurora's bed, away from the light steals home my heavy son, and private in his chamber pens himself, shuts up his windows, locks far daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must this humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove.
My noble uncle, do you know the cause? Sorry, that's your line.
I neither know it, nor can learn it of him. Now that's you.
Have you importuned him by any means?
Both by myself and many other friends, but he, his own affection's counselor, is to himself, I will not say how true, but to himself so secret and so close, so far from sounding and discovery, as is the bud bit with an envious worm, ere he can spread his sweet leaves to the air or dedicate his beauty to the sun. Could we but learn from whence his sorrows grow, we would as willingly give cure as know.
Enter Romeo.
See where he comes, so please you step aside. I'll know his grievance, or be much denied.
I would thou wert so happy be thy stay, to hear true shrift. Come, madam, let's away.
Exit Montague and Lady Montague.
Good morrow, cousin.
Is the day so young?
But new struck 9.
Ay me, sad hours seem long. Was that my father that went hence so fast?
It was. What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that which, having, makes them short.
In love?
Out.
Of love?
Out of her favor where I am in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should be so tyrannous and rough in proof.
Alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should without eye see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine? Oh me, what fray was here? Yet, tell me not, for I have heard it all. I've literally been to a Walmart parking lot after 11 p.m. Here's much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything, of nothing first create, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep, that is not what it is. This love feel I, that love no feel in this. Dost thou not laugh?
No, cause I rather weep.
Good heart, at what?
At thy good heart oppression.
Why, such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed with more of thine. This love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to too much of my own. Love is a smoke raised with a fume of sighs, being purged, a fire sparkling in lover's eyes. Being vexed to see nourished with lover's tears, what is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gale, and a preserving sweet. Farewell, my coz.
Soft, I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
Tut, I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He's some otherwhere.
Tell me in sadness, who is that? Who is that you love?
What? Shall I groan and tell thee?
Crone? Why, no. But sadly tell me who.
Bid a sick man in sadness make his will. Ah, word ill urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
I aimed so near when I supposed you loved.
A right good mark, man. And she's fair, I love.
A right fair mark, fair cuz, as soon as tit.
Well, in that hit you miss. She'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit. And in strong proof of chastity well armed, from love's weak childish bow she lives unharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of unsailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saints seducing gold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor, that when she dies with beauty dies her store.
Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste?
She hath. And in that sparing makes huge waste, for beauty starved with her severity cuts beauty off from all prosperity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair. To merit bliss by making me despair, she hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me, forget to think of her.
Oh, teach me how to forget to think.
By giving liberty unto thine eyes, examine other beauties.
'Tis the way. To call hers exquisite and question more, these happy masks that kiss fair ladies' brows, being black put us in mind they hide the fair. He that is strucken by blind cannot forget that precious treasure of eyesight lost. Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve but as a note, where I may read who passed that passing fair? Farewell.
I'll pay that doctrine, or else die in debt.
Scene 2, a street.
But Montague is bound as well as I, in penalty alike. And 'tis not hard, I think, for men so old as we to keep the peace.
Of honourable reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long. But now, my lord, what say you to my suit?
But saying o'er what I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride.
Younger than she are happy mother's maid.
And too soon marred are those so early made. Ah, the earth has swallowed all my hopes but she. She is the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part. And she agree, within her scope of choice lies my consent and fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest, such as I love. And you among the store, one more, most welcome, makes my number more. At my poor house look to behold this night earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort as do lusty young men feel when well apparelled, April on the heel of limping winter treads. Even such delight among fresh female buds shall you this night inherit at my house. Hear all see, and like her most, whose merit most shall be, which on more view of many mind being one may stand in number, though in reckoning none. Come, go with me. Go, sirrah, trudge about through fair Verona. Find those persons out whose names are written there, and to them say, my house and welcome on their pleasure stay.
Exit Capulet and Paris.
Find them out whose names are written here. It is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard, and the tailor with his last, and the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his net. But I am sent to find those persons whose names are here writ, and can never find what names the writing person hath here writ. I must to the learned, in good time.
Enter Benvolio and Romeo.
Tut, man, one fire burns out, another's burning. One pain is lessened by another's anguish. Turn giddy, and be holp by backward turning. One desperate grief cures with another's languish. Take thou some new infection to thy eye, and the rank poison of the old will die.
Your plantain leaf is excellent for that.
For what, I pray thee?
For your broken shin.
Why, Romeo, art thou mad?
Not mad, but bound more than a madman is. Shut up in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented. Got in, good fellow.
Good God. You guys could read the script and see that was much more difficult, so I'm just saying, good God. I pray, sir, can you read?
I, mine own fortune in my misery.
Perhaps you've learned it without books, but I pray, can you read anything you see?
If I know the letters and the language.
Ye say honestly.
Stay, fellow, I can read. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, Count Anselmi and his beauteous sisters, the lady widow of Vitravillo, Signor Placentillo and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, my uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosalind, Livia, Signor Valentillo, and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio, and the lively Helena. A fair assembly.
Up.
Whither?
To supper, to our house.
Whose house?
My master's.
Indeed. I should have asked you that before.
Now, I'll tell you without asking. My master is the great rich Capulet, and if you not be of the house of Montagues, I pray come and crush a cup of wine. Best you marry. At this same ancient feast of Capulet sups the fair Rosaline, whom thou so lovest, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with untainted eye compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think thy swan a crow.
When the devout religion of mine eye maintains such falsehood, then turns tears to fires, and these, who often drowned could never die, transparent heretics be burnt for liars. One fairer than my love, the all-seeing sun, ne'er saw her match since first the world begun.
Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye. But in that crystal scales let there be weighed your lady's love against some other maid, that I will show you shining at this feast, and she shall scant show well that now shows best.
I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor in mine own. Scene 3, a room in the Capulets' house. Enter Lady Capulet and nurse.
Nurse! Nurse! Where's my daughter? Call her forth to me. Jot, you're muted. You're muted.
Dang it.
There we go. There we
Sorry
go.
about that.
Where's my daughter?
I must have hit it twice.
Nurse, you're muted.
I know. Oh, crap.
Call her forth to me.
I'm sorry. I hit something and it
Fight scene.
scrolled all the way to the bottom of my frickin'...
I must...
One moment.
Nurse!
1 moment, please.
Must I threaten you with my dagger?
Let's go.
My daughter, her name is Juliet. You might have met her.
Juliet. There we are. Finally
Juliet.
got back to it. Sorry. Now by my maidenhead, a 12-year-old, I bade her come. What lamb, what ladybird? God forbid. Where's this girl? What, Juliet?
How now? Who calls?
Your mother.
Madam, I am here. What is your will?
This is the matter. Nurse, give leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me. Thou's hear our counsel. Thou knowest my daughter's of a pretty age.
Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour.
She's not 14.
I'll lay 14 of my teeth, and yet to my teeth be it spoken, I have but 4. She is not 14. How long is it now to Lamastide?
You only have 4 teeth, nurse? A fortnight and odd days.
Even or odd of all the days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night, shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. She was too good for me. But, as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. That shall she, Mary, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget it. Of all the days of the year, upon that day, for I had then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove-house wall. My lord and you were then at Mantua. Nay, I do bear a brain. But as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dug, and felt it bitter, pretty fool, to see it tetchy and fall out, shake quoth the dove-house, 'twas no need, I trow, to bid me trudge. And since that time it is 11 years. For then she could stand alone. Nay, by the rood, she could have run and waddled all about. For even the day before she broke her brow, and then my husband, God be with his soul, oh, he was a merry man, took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit. Wilt thou not, Jule? And by my holiday, that pretty wretch left crying and said, Aye. To see now how a jest shall come about, I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years, I never should forget it. Will thou not, Jule? Quoth he, and pretty fool it stinted and said, Aye.
Enough of this. I pray thee, hold thy peace.
Yes, madam. To think it should leave crying and say aye. And yet I warrant it had upon its brow a bump as big as a young cockerel stone, a parlous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fall'st upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou comest of age. Wilt thou not, Jule? It stinted and said aye.
And stint thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say I.
Peace, peace, I have done. God mark thee to this grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that I e'er nursed, and I must live to see thee married once. I have my wish.
Mary, that Mary is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married?
It is an honor I dream not of.
An honor? Were not I thine only nurse, I would say thou hadst sucked wisdom from my feet.
Well, think of marriage now, younger than you. Here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers, by my count. I was your mother much upon these years that you are now a maid. Thus then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
A man, young lady? Lady, such a man as all the world. Why, he's a man of wax.
Verona's summer hath not such a flower.
Nay, he's a flower, in faith a very flower.
What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris' face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament, and see how one another lends content, and what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margent of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride, for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory, in gold clasps locks. That in gold clasps locks in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him, making yourself no less.
No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men.
Speak briefly. Can you like of Paris, love?
I'll look to like. If looking, liking move, But no more deep will I endart mine eye than your consent give strength to make it fly.
Enter a servant.
Madam, the guests are come, supper served up. You called, my young lady asked for, the nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. I must hence to wait. I beseech you, follow straight.
We follow thee.
Go, girls, seek happy nights to happy days.
Scene 4, a street. Enter Romeo, Mercutio, and Benvolio. What shall the speech be? Spoke for our excuse, or shall we on without an apology?
The date is out of such proximity. We'll have no Cupid hoodwinked with a scarf, bearing a Tartar's painted bow of laugh, scaring the ladies like a crow keeper, nor no without book prologue, faintly spoke after the prompter for our entrance. But let them measure us by what they will. We'll measure them a measure, and be gone.
Give me a torch. Being but heavy, I will bear the light.
Mercutio's muted.
You're on mute.
Nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance.
Not I, believe you me. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead, so makes me stand to the ground I cannot move.
You are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them above a common bound.
I am too sore and pierced with his shaft to soar with his light feathers, and so bound. I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink.
And to sink in it should you burden love, too great oppression for a tender thing.
Is love a tender thing? Ugh. It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and pricks like thorns.
If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in, a visor for a visor. What care I? What curious eye doth quote deformities? Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me.
Come, knock and enter, and no sooner in, but every man betake him to his legs.
A torch for me. Tickle the senseless rushes with their heels, for I am proverbed with a Grandshire phrase. I'll be a candle holder and look on. The game was ne'er so fair, and I am done.
Tut, done's the mouse, the constable's own word. If thou art done, we'll draw thee from the mire of this sir-reverenced love, wherein thou stickest up to the ears. Come, we burn daylight, ho!
Nay, that's not so.
I mean, sir, in delay. We waste our lights in vain, like lamps by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in that air once in our 5 wits.
And we mean well in going to this mask, but 'tis no wit to go.
Why, may one ask?
I dreamed a dream tonight.
And so did I.
What was yours?
That dreamers often lie.
In bed asleep, while they do dream things true.
Oh, well then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little atomies athwart men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon spokes made of long spiders' legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, the traces of the smallest spider's web, the collars of the moonshine's watery beam, her whip of cricket bone, the lash of film, her wagoner a small gray-coated gnat, not so big as a round little worm pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut made by the joiner's squirrel or old grub, time out of mind the fairies' coachmakers. And in this state she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love. O'er courtiers' knees that dream on courtiers straight, or lawyers' fingers who then straight dream on fees. or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream, which off the angry mad with blisters plagues, tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep. Then dreams he of another benefice. Sometimes she driveth over a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breaches, ambuscados, Spanish blades, of health's 5 fathoms deep, and then anon drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus frightened, swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is that very mab that plates the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf locks in foul sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortune bodes. This is the hag when maids lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she.
Peace, 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 Mercutio. For the love of God, peace. Thou talkst of nothing.
True, I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin of substance as the air, and more inconstant than the wind, who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south.
This wind you talk of blows us from ourselves. Supper is done. We shall come too late.
I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence yet hanging in the stars, yet shall bitterly begin his fearful date when this night revels and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my sail. On, lusty gentlemen!
It says Benvolio, strike drum. But we didn't have a drum.
That's my drum. That's all I got. Wrong hat. Sorry. All right. And scene.
Okay.
We lost Trey. It says, exit, scene 5, a hall in Capulets' house.
Oh, scene 5, a hall in Capulet's house. Musicians waiting, enter serving men with napkins.
Napkins.
Where's Potpan? That he helped not to take away. He shipped a trencher. He scraped a trencher.
When good manners shall lie all in 1 or 2 men's hands, and they are unwashed too, it's a foul thing.
Away with the joint stools, remove the court cupboard, look to the plate. Good thou, save me a piece of marchpane, and as thou lovest me, let the porter, let in Susan, Grindstone, and Nell, Anthony, and Potpan.
Aye, boy. Ready.
You were looked for and called for, asked for and sought for in the great chamber.
We cannot be here and there too. This isn't time travel. Cheerly, boys. Be brisk a while, and the longer liver take all.
Enter Capulet, Juliet, Romeo, Tybalt, and a whole bunch of other Petes. Capulet, you're muted.
Frazzle.
Wow, it's pretty loud. I can't even hear Capulet.
Welcome, gentlemen. Ladies that have their toes unplagued with corns, we'll have a bout with you. Aha, my mistresses! Which of you will now deny to dance? She that makes dainty, she, I'll swear, hath corns. Am I come near ye now? Welcome, gentlemen. I have seen the day that I have worn a visor and could tell a whispering tale in a fair lady's ear, such as would please. Ah, 'tis gone, 'tis gone, 'tis gone. You are welcome, gentlemen. Come, musicians, play. A hall, a hall! Give room and foot it, girls. Music plays and they dance. More light, you knaves, and turn the tables up, and quench the fire, the room is grown too hot. Ah, sirrah, this unlooked-for sport comes well. Nay, sit, good cousin Capulet, for you and I are past our dancing days. How long is it now since last yourself and I were in a mask?
I guess this will be me. Fire lady, 30 years.
What, man? 'Tis not so much, 'tis not so much. 'Tis since the nuptials of Lucentio. Come Pentecost as quickly as it will, some 25 years, and then we masked.
'Tis more, 'tis more. His son is elder, sir. His son is 30.
Will you tell me that? His son was but a ward 2 years ago.
What lady is that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight?
Any servant.
I do not know, sir.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich to use, for earth too dear. So shows the snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellow shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
This, by his voice, should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy. What dares the slave that hither, covered with an antic face, to fleer and scorn at our solemnity? Now, by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not a sin.
Why, how now, kinsman? Wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe, a villain that is hither come in spite to scorn at our solemnity this night.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo.
Content thee, gentle coz, let him alone. He bears him like a portly gentleman, and to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all the town here in my house do him disparagement. Therefore, be patient. Take no note of him. It is my will, the which, if thou respect, show a fair presence, and put off these frowns and ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
It fits when such a villain is a guest. I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What? Goodman boy, I say he shall. Go to. Am I the master here, or you? Go to. You'll not endure him. God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests? You will set a cock-a-hoop? You'll be a man.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
Go to, go to. You are a saucy boy. Isn't it so, indeed? This trick may chance to scathe you. I know what. You must contrary me. Marry, 'tis time. Well said, my hearts. You are a prince-cock. Go, be quiet. Or, more light. For shame, I'll make you quiet. What, cheerily, my hearts?
Patience perforce with wolf or colt meeting makes my flesh tremble in their different greeting. I will withdraw, thou seeming sweet convert to bitter gall.
They exit. If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, this gentle fine as this, my lips to blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth that rough touch with the tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this, for saints have hands that pilgrim hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips by yours, my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin? From my lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged. Give me my sin again.
I lost my place. You kiss by the book!
Madam, your mother craves a word with you.
What is her mother?
Mary, bachelor, her mother is the lady of the house, and a good lady, and a wise and virtuous. I nursed her daughter, that you talked withal. I tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have the chinks.
Is she a Capulet? Oh, dear Count, my life is my foe's debt.
Away, begone, the sport is at the best.
Aye, so I fear, the more is my unrest.
Nay, gentlemen, prepare not to be gone. We have a trifling, foolish banquet towards. Is it e'en so? Why then, I thank you all. I thank you, honest gentlemen. Good night. More torches here. Come on then. Let's to bed. Ah, sirrah, by my fay it waxes late. I'll go to my rest.
Everybody exits but Juliet and the nurse.
Come hither, nurse. What is yon gentleman?
The son and heir of old Tiberio.
What's he now that is going out of door?
Mary, that, I think, be young Petruchio.
What's he that follows there that would not dance?
I know not.
Well, go ask his name. My grave is like to be my wedding bed.
His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
My only love, sprung from my only hate. Too early seen unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me that I must love a loathed enemy.
What's this? What's this?
A rhyme, I learned even now, of one I danced withal. One calls within Juliet.
Anon, anon. Come, let's away. The strangers all are gone.
Exit, end of Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1. A lane by the wall of Capulet's orchard. Enter Romeo. Can I go forward when my heart is here? Turn back, dull earth, and find the center here. Find the center out. Enter Cornholio.
Romeo!
And Mercutio.
Romeo, my cousin Romeo!
He is wise, and on my lie hath stolen him home to bed.
He ran this way and leaped the orchard wall. Call, good Mercutio.
Nay, I'll conjure too. Romeo, humors, madman, passion, lover, appear thou in the likeness of a sigh, speak but one rhyme, and I am satisfied. Cry but ah me, pronounce but love and dove, speak to my gossip Venus one fair word, one nickname for her purblind son and heir, young Adam Cupid, he that shot so trim when King Cophetua loved that beggar maid. He neareth not, he stirreth not, he moveth not. The ape is dead, and I must conjure him. I conjure thee by Rosaline's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her scarlet lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh, and the demnesses that there adjacent lie, that in thy likeness thou appear to us.
And if he hear thee, thou wilt anger him.
Oh, this cannot anger him. 'Twould anger him to raise a spirit in his mistress' circle of some strange nature, letting it there stand till she had laid it and conjured it down. That were some spite. My invocation is fair and honest, and in his mistress's name I conjure only but to raise him up.
Come, he hath hid himself among these trees, to be consorted with the humorous night. Blind is his love, and best befits the dark.
If love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. Now will he sit under a medlar tree, and wish his mistress were that kind of fruit as maids call medlars when they laugh alone. Romeo, that she were an open etc., thou a popper and pear. Romeo, good night. I'll to my truckle bed. This field bed is too cold for me to sleep. Come, shall we go?
Go then, for 'tis in vain to seek him here that means not to be found.
They exit. Scene 2, Capulets orchard. He jests at scars that never felt a wound. Juliet enters. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou her maid art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. Oh, it is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven having some business do entreat her eyes, to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand? Oh, that it were a glove upon that hand, that I might slap that cheek.
Beat you to it. I me.
She speaks before me. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night, being o'er my head as is a winged messenger of heaven unto the white upturned wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him, when he bestrides the lazy pacing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny my father and refuse thy name. Or, if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo.
What man art thou, that thus bescreened in night, so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. It is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterance, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo? Romeo, and a Montague?
Neither, fair saint, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high, and hard to climb. and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
With love's light wings did I o'erperch these walls, for stormy limits cannot hold out love out. And what love can do that dares love attempt, therefore thy kinsmen are no let to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder me.
Alack, alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity.
I would not for the world say... Oh, I would not for the world they saw thee here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their sight. And but thou love me, let them find me here. Let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death some word wanting of thy love.
By whose direction foundst thou this place?
By love, who first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that vast shore washed with the farthest sea, I would adventure for such merchandise.
Thou know'st the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden blush bepaint my cheek. For that which thou hast heard me speak tonight, fain would I dwell on, fain deny what I have spoke. But farewell, compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Yet if thou swearest, thou may prove false. At lovers' perjuries, then say Jove's laughs. A gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully. Or, if thou thinks I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse, and say thee nay. So thou wilt woo, but else not for the world. In truth, fair Montague, I am too fond, and therefore thou mayst think my behaviour light. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those that have more cunning to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess, but that thou overheardst, ere I was ware, my true love's passion. Therefore, pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love, which the dark night hath so discovered.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon I swear that lifts with silver all these fruit tree tops.
Oh, swear not by the moon, that inconstant moon, that monthly changes her circled orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable.
What shall I swear by?
Do not swear at all. Or, if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the god of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee.
If my heart's dear love...
Well, do not swear. Although I joy in thee, I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which doth cease to be, ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. This bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, good night. As sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as within my breast.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine.
I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again.
Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love?
But to be frank, and give it thee again. And yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu. Anon, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little, I will come again.
She exits. Oh, blessed, blessed night, I am afeard. Being a knight, all this is but a dream, too flattering sweet to be substantial. She re-enters.
3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honourable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow, by one that I'll procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite, and all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world.
A knock.
Madam!
I come anon. But if thou meanst not well, I do beseech thee.
Madam!
By and by I come, to cease thy suit, and leave me to my grief. Tomorrow will I send.
So thrive my soul.
1,000 times good night.
She exits. 1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love toward school with heavy looks. Juliet re-enters.
Hist! Romeo, hist! Oh, for a falconer's voice to lure this tasseled gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse, and may not speak aloud. Else would I tear the cave where echo lies, and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine, with repetition of my Romeo's name.
It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sound lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears.
Romeo!
My dear?
At what o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee?
At the hour of 9.
I will not fail. I have forgot why I did call thee back.
Let me stand here till thou remember it.
I shall forget, and have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company.
And I'll still stay, to have thee still forget, forgetting any other home but this.
'Tis almost morning. I would have thee gone, and yet no further than a wanton's bird, who lets it hop a little from her hand, like a poor prisoner in his twisted gyves, and with a silk thread plucks it back again, so loving jealous of his liberty.
I would I were thy bird.
Sweet, so would I. Yet I should kill thee with much cherishing. Good night. Good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow, that I shall say good night, till it be morrow.
She pieces out. Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace so sweet to rest. Hence will I my ghostly father sell, his help to crave, and my dear hap to tell. Exit. Scene 3. Friar Lawrence's cell. Friar Lawrence enters with a basket.
The gray-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, checking the eastern clouds with streaks of light, and flecked darkness like a drunkard reels from forth day's path, and tightens fiery wheels. Now ere the sun advances, burning eye, the day to cheer and the night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this austere cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth that nature's mother is her tomb, and what her burying grave, that is her womb, and from her womb children of divers kind, we sucking on her natural bosom find. Many for many virtues excellent, none but some, and yet all different. Oh, mickle is the powerful grace that lies in herbs, plants, stones, and their true qualities. For not so vile that the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give. Nor aught so good, but strain from that fair use, revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice sometimes by action dignified. Within the infant rind of this small flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this, being smelt, with that part cheers each part. Being tasted, slays all senses with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still in man as well as herbs, grace and rude will. And from where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant.
Enter Romeo. Good morrow, father.
Benedict, what's early tongue so sweet saluteth me? Young son, it argues a distempered head, so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps his watch in every old man's eye, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie. But where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain doth couch his limbs, there golden sleep doth reign. Therefore thy earliness doth me assure, though thou art uproused by some distemperature. Or if not so, then here I hit it right. Our Romeo hath not been in bed tonight.
That last is true, the sweeter rest was mine.
God pardon sin. Wast thou with Rosalind?
With Rosalind, my ghostly father? No, I have forgot that name, and that name's woe.
That's my good son. But where hast thou been then?
I tell thee, ere thou ask it me again, I have been feasting with mine enemy. Where on a sudden one hath wounded me, that's by me wounded. Both are remedies. Within thy help and holy psychic lies, I bear no hatred, blessed man, for lo, my intercession likewise steads my foe.
Be plain, good son, and holy in thy drift. Riddling confession finds nothing but riddling shrift.
Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on hers, so hers is set on mine, and all combined, save what thou must combine. By holy marriage, when and where and how we met, we wooed and made exchange of vow. I tell thee as we passed, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today.
Holy Saint Francis! What a change is here! Is Rosaline, whom thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love then lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline. How much salt water thrown in a waste to season love, that it doth not taste. The sun not yet sighs from heaven clears, thy old groan rings yet in my ancient ears. Lo, here upon thy cheek the stain doth sit, of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If ever thou wast thyself in those woes thine, thou in these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Thou child'st me oft for loving Rosaline,
For doting, not for loving, pupil mine.
and bad'st me bury love.
Not in a grave to lay one in, another out to have.
I pray thee, chide not. She whom I love now doth grace for grace and love for love allow. The other did not so.
Oh, she knew well, thy love did read by rote and could not spell. But come, young waverer, come, go with me. In one respect, I'll thy assistant be. For this alliance may so happy prove, to turn your household's rancor to pure love.
Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste.
Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast.
They exit. Scene 4, a street. Enter Cornholio and Mercutio.
Where the devil should this Romeo be? Came he not home tonight?
Not to his father's. I spoke with his man.
Ah, that same pale, hard-hearted wench, that Rosaline, torments him so that he will sure run mad.
Tybalt, the kinsman of old Capulet, has sent a letter to his father's house.
A challenge on my life.
Romeo will answer it.
Any man that can write may answer a letter.
No, nay, he will answer the letter's master, how he dares being dared.
Alas, poor Romeo. He's already dead, stabbed with a white wench's black eye, shot through the ear with a love song, the very pin of his heart cleft with the blind bow boy's butt shaft. And is he a man to encounter Tybalt?
Why? What is Tybalt?
More than the Prince of Cats, I can tell you. Oh, he is the courageous captain of compliments. He fights as you sing prick songs, keeps time, distance, and proportion. Rests me his minim rest, 1, 2, and the third in your bosom. The very butcher of a silk button. A duelist, a gentleman of the very first house, of the first and second cause. Ah, the immortal Pisado, the punto reverso, the high.
The what?
The pox of such antic, lisping, affecting fantasticos. These new tuners of accent, by Jesu, a very good blade, a very tall man, a very good whore. Why, is not this a lamentable thing, grandsire, that we should be thus afflicted with these strange flies, these fashion mongers, these podonymies, who stand so much on the new form that they cannot at ease on the old bench? Oh, they're bones, they're bones.
Enter
Here comes
Romeo.
Romeo. Here comes Romeo.
Without his roe, like a dried herring. Flesh, flesh, how art thou fishified? Now is he for the numbers that Petrarch flowed in. Laura to his lady, but a kitchen wench, Mary. She had a better love to be rhymer. Dido a dowdy, Cleopatra a gypsy, Helen and Hero, Hildings and harlots, Thisbe a gray eye or so, but not to the purpose. Signor Romeo, bonjour. There's a French salutation to your French slop. You gave us the counterfeit fairly last night.
Good morrow to you both. What counterfeit did I give you?
The ship, sir, the slip. Can't you not conceive?
Ah, pardon, good Mercutio. My business was great, and in such a case as mine, a man may strain courtesy.
That's as much to say, such a case as yours constrains a man to bow in his hams.
Meaning to curtsy.
Thou hast most kindly hit it.
A most courteous exposition.
Nay, I am the very pink of courtesy.
Pink for flower.
Right.
Why, then is my pump well flowered?
Well said. Worn out thy pump, that when the single soul of it is worn, the jest may remain after the wearing soul singular.
Oh, single-souled jest, solely singular for the singleness.
Come between us, good Benvolio. My wits faint.
Switch and spurs, or I'll cry a match.
Nay, if thy wits run the wild goose chase, I have done. For thou hast more of the wild goose in one of thy wits than I am sure. I have in my whole 5. Was I with you there for the goose?
Thou wast never with me for anything when thou wast not there for the goose.
I will bite thee by the ear for that jest.
Nay, good goose, bite not.
Thy wit is very bitter sweeting. It is a most sharp sauce.
And is it not well served into a sweet goose?
Oh, here's a wit of chivalry that stretches from an inch narrow to an ell broad.
I stretch it out for that word broad, which added to the goose, proves thee far and wide a broad goose.
Why, is not this better now than groaning for love? Now art thou sociable, now art thou Romeo, now art thou what thou art, by art as well as by nature? For this driveling love is like a great natural that runs lolling up and down to hide his bauble in a hole.
Stop there. Stop there.
Thou desirest me to stop in my tale against the hair?
Thou wouldst else have made thy tale large.
Oh, thou art deceived. I would have made it short, for I was come to the whole depth of my tale, and meant indeed to occupy the argument no longer.
Here's goodly gear. Enter Nurse and Peter.
A sail! A sail!
Two, a shirt and a smock.
Peter!
Anon!
My fan, Peter.
Oops.
Good, Peter, to hide your face, for her fans the fairer face.
Good ye good morrow, gentlemen.
God ye good den, fair gentlewoman.
Is it good den?
'Tis no less, I tell you, for the bawdy hand of the dial is now upon the prick of noon.
Out upon you! What a man are you!
One gentlewoman that God hath made for himself to mar.
By my troth, it is well said. For himself to mar, quoth the gentleman, can any of you tell me where I may find young Romeo?
I can tell you, but young Romeo will be older when you have found him than he was when you sought him. I am the youngest of that name, for fault of worse.
You say well.
Yea, is the worst well? Very well took, in faith, wisely, wisely.
If you be he, sir, I desire some confidence with you.
She will indict him to some supper.
Abad, 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 so ho!
What hast thou found?
No hare, sir, unless a hare, sir, in a Lenten pie. That is something stale and hoar ere it be spent. An old whore hare, oh, hare whore, sorry, and an old hare whore is a very good meat in Lent. But a hare that is a whore is too much for a score when it whores ere it be spent. Romeo, will you come to your father's? Well, to dinner thither?
I will follow you.
Farewell, ancient lady, farewell. Lady, lady, lady,
Lady.
Exit Mercutio and Benvolio.
Marry, farewell. I pray you, sir, what saucy merchant was this that was so full of his ropery?
A gentleman, nurse, that loves to hear himself talk, and will speak more in a minute than he will stand to in a month.
And speak anything against me, I'll take him down, and I'll wear lustier than he is, and 20 such jacks. And if I cannot, I'll find those that shall. Scurvy knave. I am none of his flirt gills. I am none of his skeins mates. And thou must stand by too, and suffer every knave to use me at his pleasure?
I saw no man use you at his pleasure. If I had, my weapon should quickly have been out, I warrant you. I dare draw as soon as another man, if I see occasion in a good quarrel and the law on my side.
Now afore God I am so vexed, that every part about me quivers. Scurvy knave. Pray you, sir, a word. And as I told you, my young lady bade me inquire you out. What she bade me say, I will keep to myself. But first let me tell ye, if ye should lead her into a fool's paradise, as they say, it were a very gross kind of behavior, as they say. For the gentlewoman is young, and therefore, if you should deal double with her, truly it were an ill thing to be offered to any gentlewoman, and very weak dealing.
Nurse, commend me to thy lady and mistress. I protest unto thee.
Good heart and of faith. I will tell her as much. Lord, she will be a joyful woman.
What wilt thou tell her, nurse? Thou dost not mark me.
I will tell her, sir, that you do protest, which, as I take it, is a gentlemanlike offer.
Bid her devise some means to come to Shrift this afternoon, and there she shall at Friar Lawrence's cell be shrived and married. Here is for thy pains.
No, truly, sir, not a penny.
Go to, I say you shall.
This afternoon, sir. Well, she shall be there.
And stay, good nurse, behind the abbey wall. Within this hour my man shall be with thee, and bring thee cords made like a tackled stair, which to the high-top gallant of my joy must be my convoy in the secret night. Farewell, be trusty, and I'll quit thy pains. Farewell, commend me to thy mistress.
Now God in heaven bless thee. Hark you, sir.
What sayst thou, my dear nurse?
Is your man secret? Did you ne'er hear say, two may keep counsel, putting one away?
I warrant thee my man's as true as steel.
Well, sir, my mistress is the sweetest lady. Lord, when 'twas a little prating thing, oh, there was a nobleman in town, one Paris, that would fain lay knife aboard, but she, good soul, had as lief see a toad, a very toad, as I see him. I anger her sometimes and tell her that Paris is the properer man. But I'll warrant you, when I say so, she looks as pale as any clout in the versal world. Doth not Rosemary and Romeo begin with a letter?
Ay, nurse, what of that? Both with an R.
Ah, mocker, That's the dog's name. R is for the... No, I know it begins with some other letter. It of you and Rosemary, that it would do you good to hear it.
Commend me to thy lady.
Aye, 1,000 times. Peter!
Exit Romeo.
Anon!
Peter, take my fan, and go before and apace.
They exit. Scene 5. Capulet's orchard.
The clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perchance she cannot meet him. That's not so. Oh, she is lame! Love's heralds should be thoughts, which 10 times faster glide than the sun's beams, driving back shadows over lowering hills. Therefore do nimble-pinioned doves draw love, and therefore hath the wind swift Cupid wings. Now is the sun upon the highmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 till 12 is 3 long hours, yet she is not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be swift in motion as a ball. My words would bandy her to my sweet love, and his to me. But old folks, many feign as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, heavy, and pale as lead. Oh God, she comes!
Enter nurse and Peter.
Oh, honey nurse, what news? Hast thou met with him? Send thy man away.
Peter, stay at the gate.
Now, good, sweet nurse. O Lord, why look'st thou sad? Though news be sad, yet tell them merrily. If good, thou shamest the music of sweet news by playing it to me with so sour a face.
I am a-weary. Give me leave a while. Fie, how my bones ache. What a jaunt have I had.
I would thou hadst my bones, and I thy news. Nay, come, I pray thee, speak. Good nurse, speak.
Jesu, what haste! Can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I am out of breath?
How art thou out of breath, when thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath? The excuse that thou dost make in this delay is longer than the tale thou dost excuse. Is thy news good or bad? Answer to that. Say either, and I'll stay the circumstance. Let me be satisfied. Is good or bad?
Well, you have made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo, no, not he, though his face be better than any man's, yet his leg excels all men's, and for a hand, and a foot, and a body, though they be not to be talked on, yet they are past compare. But I'll warrant him as gentle as a lamb. Go thy ways, wench, serve God. What, have you dined at home?
No. What says he of our marriage? What of that?
Lord, how my head aches. What a head have I. It beats as it would fall in 20 pieces. My back the other side. Oh, my back. Beshrew your heart for sending me about to catch my death with jaunting up and down.
I'faith, I am sorry that thou art not well. Sweet nurse, tell me, what says my love?
Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a courteous, and a kind, and a handsome, and I warrant a virtuous. Where is your mother?
Where is my mother? Why, she is within. Where should she be? How oddly thou repliest. Your love says, like an honest gentleman, where is your mother?
Oh, God's lady dear, are you so hot? Mary, come up, I trow, is the poultice for my aching bones. Henceforth do your messages yourself.
Here's such a coil. Come, what says Romeo?
Have you got leave to go to Shrift today?
I have.
Then hie you hence to Fry Lawrence's cell. There stays a husband to make you a wife. Now comes the wanton blood up in your cheeks. They'll be in scarlet straight at any news. Hie, you go to church. I must another way, to fetch a ladder, by the which your love must climb a bird's nest soon when it is dark. And I am the drudge and toil in your delight, but you shall bear the burden soon at night. Go, I'll to dinner. Hie you to the cell.
Hie to high fortune. Honest nurse, farewell.
They exit. Scene 6, Friar Lawrence's cell, and the return of the amazing hat.
So smiled the heavens upon his holy act, that after hours with sorrows chide us not.
Amen, amen. But come what sorrow can, it cannot countervail the exchange of joy that one short minute gives me in her sight. Do thou but close our hands with holy words, then love-devouring death do what he dare. It is enough I may but call her mine.
These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die like fire and powder, which as they kiss consume. The sweetest honey is loathsome in its own deliciousness, and in the taste confounds the appetite. Therefore, love moderately. Long love doth so. Too swift arise, as tardy as too slow.
Enter Juliet.
Oh, here comes the lady, oh so light afoot. Will ne'er wear out the everlasting flint. A lover may bestride the gossamer that idles in the wanton summer air, and yet not fall, so light is vanity.
Good even to my ghostly confessor.
Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for both of us.
As much to him, else his thanks is too much.
Ah, Juliet, if the measure of thy joy be heaped like mine, and that thy skill be more to blazon it, then sweeten with thy breath this neighbor air, and let rich music's tongue unfold the imagined happiness that both receive in either by this dear encounter.
Conceit more rich in matter than in words, brags of his substance, not of ornament. They are but beggars that can count their worth. But my true love is grown to such excess I cannot sum up some of half my wealth.
Come with me, and we will make short work. For, by your leaves, you shall not stay alone till Holy Church incorporate two in one.
This is the end of Monday night. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Act 1 and 2 of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, poorly and hilariously played by our fellows moonlighting as questionable actors. The remainder of this play will be broadcast at the same time, 7 p.m. Central, 5 Pacific, and 8 Eastern on Wednesday night, January 12th. Please join us then to continue the tragic tale of Romeo and Juliet. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch. We need all the followers we can get right now. Follow us on social media and check us out on our website. Tips to the mod. Thank you all for coming. We will now open it up to questions from the audience. We'll take about 5 to 10 minutes to take any questions. So at this time,